All right, instant traffic hacks. Facebook ads images. Okay, so how to master the most crucial part of your Facebook ad. Now this is big stuff, guys. If you're running Facebook ads, you got to understand the images. It's I'd say 80-90% of the success of your ad has to do with the image. Um, Images are everything. Okay, we live in a visual world. I mean, think about what's hot right now. Pinterest, Instagram, it's all visual, right? It's all about photos. It's about visual capture. We're a highly distracted world right now. I mean, it's hard to keep someone's attention for 2 seconds on your page when they land on your page. You've got what 2 seconds, a fraction of a second, 2 seconds for them to determine whether or not your page is even relevant to them before they bounce off and go look for something else. Same with a Facebook ad. I bet that it's a lot faster than 2 seconds. They're not going to be looking around for 2 whole seconds at your ad. In fact, if it doesn't capture the corner of their eye, you might not capture them. So you don't even get a direct look, right? So the other reason images are so important is that the pictures can convey more than words. I mean, you've always heard the phrase "picture's worth 1,000 words." Well, it is. Think about trying to describe a picture. It will take quite a few words, right? So if you've got an image that's conveying the idea that you want to convey, it's a super powerful part of your ad. Okay, so the question is which image to use. There's 1,000 images out there. You can create your own. I'll even show you how Facebook helps you out and lets you choose from a library of images. They've actually teamed up with a stock photo. I can't remember which one, but stock photos. So you can actually just choose from stock photos. Choose your favorite image. Obviously, the problem there is you can't. I mean, you have limitations there, but choose your own photos. Choose Facebook photos that Facebook's got available for you. But you need to know which image to use. That's what we're going to go into. So a few things to think about. Does your image speak to your audience? Okay, you might have a really exciting, captivating image that is a shot straight out of a video game, right? Some monster being shot at by a robot, high explosives, something like that, and that might be very visually captivating. But if you're trying to sell a supplement to a mature audience, that's not going to work. They're not interested. They've trained themselves to gloss over those images and look for something that's relevant to them. So make sure your image is speaking to your audience. So think about that. I'll tell you a funny little story about images speaking to your audience. Um, I was running an ad here for a supplement that's to a mature audience, thinking, just trying to think outside of the box. What images would speak to a mature audience? And I thought, well, my grandpa likes to take walks in the park, right? And he likes to take walks in the park and sit at the bench and look at the ducks. And so there was this image of this mallard duck. It's just this big mallard duck on a white background, and I used it, and it actually converted really well. Really surprising, but it worked, right? So it spoke to my audience. It captured their eye. So the other question is, does it pop, right? Does the image pop? No, the test that I do with this is I got to notice yourself, right? So when you are on Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram or any image based social media platform and you're scrolling around, since that's what we do on Facebook, we go to Facebook, slouch in our chair, and just start to scroll until something captures our eye, or at least the corner of our eye, at which point we stop and then see what that is, right? So the image needs to pass that test. So notice yourself next time you go to Facebook. As soon as you're done listening to this and you hop over to Facebook to check what your friends are up to, notice which images are capturing your eye. Which post did you stop to read and why? So start paying attention to that. Is it because you always stop on the pictures where there's a face and the face is looking at you, so you get some eye contact with this image? Is it because it had some bright border? Is it because it was of something interesting or something, some topic? So what is it that made you stop? So your image needs to pass the corner of the eye test, okay? So think about that. So next is the sizing of your images. Now this is a really interesting topic because Facebook, as a platform, people are going to be uploading images to Facebook left and right from all kinds of different sizes. So Facebook has to make a decision somewhere as to what size it's going to optimize for and things like that. So the sizing of your image is important. The width of the image needs to be 1.91 times the height. Okay, so that's the ratio. So almost double the width as height, but not quite 1.91 width to height. So the full size minimum image sizes are listed here. For a mobile device, mobile actually has the largest image size on Facebook at 560 by 292, desktop by 400 by 209, and sidebars 100 by 72. So depending on where your ad's going to show, these are all the same ratio. So I would definitely just optimize for the biggest one. So grab an image, make sure your images are at least 560 by 292, then you're safe. If you want the large image look on your ad, right? And I'll talk about that in a second. So that's just an easy rule of thumb. Make sure your image is 560 by 292 if you want that big image look. Obviously, you can go higher resolution than this, more pixels. Just keep this ratio 1.91. So keep that in mind. Just save that number right there on your desktop or in your head or whatever. If you don't do that, if you don't have at least, this is the minimum right here because the sidebar is just little tiny images, right? So if your image isn't at least 400 by 209, Facebook will actually resize it to a 154 by 154, or if it's even too small to do that, it'll resize it to a 90 by 90. Now that's a big difference on the newsfeed, and I'll show you the difference of what that looks like here in a second. Heck, I'll show you right now. So here's Facebook. All right, so here's the full image. Here's the full 400 by 209 image, right there. So we're going to keep coming down here, and here we have an image that's not. It's the 154. So this image was the wrong dimension, wrong size, and it got shrunk to this little box, and the copy came here on the right-hand side instead of being underneath. So everywhere, Facebook gurus left and right are telling you make sure it's 400 by 209 as a minimum, or else it'll resize small. Now, is that size really the best, right? So first thing you want to do is you want to do an eye test. So what I actually did when running Facebook ads, scrolling through here, I actually found that these are all the full ones here. I'm just scrolling through my personal Facebook account. I actually started to notice the small images better because these ones got drowned out to me. It's just like big image. Oh, then this little tiny one, especially if it's a good image. This one's obviously gray on gray, probably not the hottest image. But a nice captivating small image for whatever reason captured my eye because it had text right next to it. I don't know. I liked this little combo. It comes in a clean little box, has the copyright to the right of it. So I decided to split test. I didn't know of anyone who would split test. Everyone had just told me always go big, right? So since I found myself gravitating more towards that smaller box, I created the exact same image in the full size and in a small size, so it got resized to the 154. And what actually happened? You want to see the results? I'll show you the results. The smaller image actually got twice the click-through rate and cost half as much as getting a click to my website, and then the big image. Now, I'm not saying that this is always the case. All I'm saying is don't be afraid to test. Run both and see which one works. You might be surprised. The image I was using, of course, had a lot of color, and I think on the smaller scale with the copy tucked up right next to it, I think it made more sense, and so I did it at the smaller. And goodness sake, look at the results here. So for virtually the same amount of ad spend, I guess it was a little bit less down here, but 16 cents got me a website click here. With the large image, it cost 30 cents to get me a website click. If you look at the click-through rates over here, again, it was more than doubly successful. The small image, people would click on it more likely than the big one. So come to Facebook again and try to notice yourself which ones you like better. Are you liking I'll show you another example of the small versus large image. Those are some collages and stuff. Where's another small one? See, everyone's going big images, but if you get a good, strong, small one, I don't know why, but it worked for me. So definitely make sure to test it, okay? Okay, so now let's talk about some tips. On your image, if there's writing on your image, if there's any text, it needs to be 20% or less of the image. If not, Facebook actually won't approve the ad. Now, Facebook has to approve a lot of ads really fast, so they might approve the ad, but they'll take it down within 24 hours. So make sure that's not the case. When you're using people in your images, try using faces. Again, you use all kinds of stuff. I want you guys to test because your market, your niche, your audience might be different than mine. So, but I'll give you some tips on what's working for me. Okay, so when using people, try using faces, and when using faces, try using emotion and or eye contact. So the side of a person's face is one thing, but eyes looking straight at you. Look, here's somebody using eyes looking straight at you. It captures you. It passes the corner of the eye test. Okay. The next thing is try using pattern interrupting images. I mean, Facebook is just image loaded. That's what it's all about now. So try something different. Try, like I said, eyeball staring right at the person. If it's maybe it's some attractive, male or female, some attractive person on there. Well, if you get eye contact with that attractive image, it speaks to you, right? So try that. Try colorful images. There's bright colors and there's dull colors. I'm not liking any of these ads right here in this feed. Of all these ads, this one's showing up the most to me in the corner of my eye, just because it's got color, and that's even a cool color. A warm color would probably shock me more. Ooh, look at that color. That was bright. Popped right out. Now instantly this switched. I saw the yellow. I saw the red. Okay, so use that corner of the eye test for your images. Now, one thing that people have been doing, and you can try this. Is rotate your image so it's not straight on. It's kind of crooked. See if you can twist it a little bit in your image editing software. Um, Everything's so squared up and lined up perfectly and perfect lines that when something is crooked, the text or something, all of a sudden your eye goes to that because it's out of place. Okay, so that's something to try. Next thing is strong borders. You'll notice people testing out borders, red borders, orange borders, yellow borders around your image just to give it more of a pop. You can test that. Familiar things, whether it's a baby or a cat or a duck in the park, things that are familiar to your audience might work well. They gravitate towards things that are ridiculous, right? So a cat riding a tricycle, people are going to stop and look at that image. What's going on? Or something that's loud. So those are some tips. Try to think outside of the box with your images so you get noticed. Now I want to show you a couple things here about the images. Let's go through here and just pretend to create an ad. Again, this is just my personal account. There actually isn't any ads in this personal one. They're in a different business one. And so this is what I see here. The first thing is let's create an image. Clicks to my website. Let's just do this for kicks. So sometimes it'll pull over an image that you have on your website as a default. You can keep it, but you can go for more images, right? So you can upload images from your computer. You can browse a library of images that you've already used on Facebook. They save them. Or you can actually use Shutterstock photos like I was talking about before. And you can just search the Shutterstock bank right here for images to use. So let's say we want a cat. You can start with a cat. Any of these images stand out. If I was a cat lover, maybe this one with the eyes staring straight at me. So let's use that. Just bring that over. That one's kind of intense. This one is obviously a cat shape. I like the contrasting black and white, even though it is just black and white. It's obviously a cat silhouette, so that might be fun. Let's try, if we're going for cats, let's try, you know what, I might even prefer this one to this one. It just seems a little bit less busy in the background. This one's kind of mystical. Although it's dark, it's a lot of black, so that might grab your attention. Just a big black space on your computer. Ooh, big eyes right there, right? So there's all kinds of fun things you can choose. I mean, maybe you want cat and children at the same time. Here's a close up. They are looking sideways, but he's got a red on his shirt. So just play around. I mean, there's just the neat thing about having all these stock images here available for your advertising is that you've got unlimited choices. I mean, you could go anything. You could go crazy, like a robot cat, if that's available. you know, whatever you want to try. Maybe, you know, crazy robot images. So anyway, totally available for you there. So that's it about images. I mean, the biggest thing to take home today is play with the image sizes. Make sure you have the size that you want and it's optimized right. Make sure your image is capturing your audience, so it's the right type of image, speaking to the right audience, and then lastly, make sure it passes that corner of the eye test. Anyway, have fun with your Facebook images.